Hello, everyone, and welcome to Polysaturated. This is episode 26. I am Zan, and I am here with...
Grow.
And?
Jay.
Jay, are you here? Are you
No.
occupied?
Are we enthused?
Jay.
I'm here. Episode 26. We are going to talk about...
Da, 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 da.
No, we're not doing that anymore.
Why?
Because we don't need fanfare at every episode. Not
People
everyone's going to be...
expect it.
No, they don't.
They do.
I don't think they do.
Write in if you expect it.
No.
No, they never do.
So we are going to talk about getting to know you. Poly version.
That's what we're talking about?
Yeah. What else you thought we were talking about?
I thought we were doing...
Questions?
I thought we were doing these crocheted doilies.
You're in the wrong episode. I think you're in the wrong podcast period.
But they're in the shape of small children.
What?
That is so weird. And I thought I was the weird one here.
You are.
Welcome to the crochet hour.
Definitely no.
No.
When it comes to polyamory, there's a huge difference between monogamous people trying to get to know each other and poly people trying to get to know each other when it is concerning dating. Because questions will come up like, so how long have you been poly? Well, that's one of the top ones.
Yeah.
How does your partner feel about you dating? You won't typically get that in a mono type of relationship, I wouldn't think. Because monogamous people kind of, don't like that.
Yeah, those particular questions, of course. I think monogamous relationships... Monogamous.
McNuggets, miss?
Monogamous.
Monogamous.
Head to the golden single lone arch. Anyway, McNugamus. That's even better than McDonald's, where you order your sub. So the thing is, when monogamous people ask their questions when they're just getting to know somebody, you have that person that you do the coffee date with. And the reason why monogamous people do the coffee date thing now is because nobody is willing to spend $60 on a meal with all the fixings, and the numbers don't bear out for a good result at the end of the first date. So
Well,
we find it.
I think the coffee date is actually a good idea, because the last date I went on was a coffee date, and I'm kind of glad it was, because it really kind of fizzled out halfway through the coffee.
That's the thing, and the thing about the typical date that I always hated was, it's a movie. How the hell do you get to know anybody?
You don't.
While a movie is playing. The best thing that you can do is hold hands during the date.
And if it's a horror movie, you can cuddle. Oh, you're scared.
But if this is a first date, that you probably aren't at the cuddling stage yet.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I totally see that.
So it's one of those things and the same thing with going to bars, or even a bar, a pub, or any kind of place like...
all the bars I go to, the polka music's just so loud.
It's just... Well, that's the thing, is all the music is loud. And it's one of those things where, how are you supposed to talk? How are you supposed to get to know this person, which is the point of the date in the first place, to decide if this is somebody that you would like to be around, if this is somebody you would like to spend time with, if this is somebody you'd like to develop more with, if this is somebody you would like to bonk. You're not going to find that out if you can't hear each other.
Bonk like with a frying pan?
It depends on how the date goes, right?
So
I do not advocate violence at any point in a date, unless you're both into that. Consent is important, people.
And if you're awkward like me, when I get into somebody, I get super awkward and nervous and weird. And so, like, going out eating in front of someone is a kind of a hard thing for me to do, because it usually ends up in some sort of hilarious disaster.
So are we talking about dating, or are we talking about
ranch dressing dribbling down your chin? We are talking about questions, but we are talking about why a coffee date is superior for asking questions, as opposed to a restaurant date, as opposed to a movie date, as opposed to a go to a bar and have a drink together date.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk with your mouth full, and I guess that would be a different kind of date too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then you get to pick up on mannerisms of people while they're eating that you may be more tolerant of once you get to know them, but if you first...
Mouth nose.
Yeah.
Mouth no. Just no.
Chewing with their mouth open, or talking with their mouth open.
Stop
or
it.
Like licking, I don't know, something inappropriate.
Okay.
What
like
are
the
you?
waiter. or,
What,
you know.
like the waiter. Like the waiter. We're licking inappropriately. This sounds like a game of Cards Against Humanity
But-
where inappropriately licking the waiter would be one of the white cards that you could play.
Oh,
But,
that'd be
I-
awesome. We should write that in.
We need to write that one in.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if you're in a poly relationship and you go to a restaurant where your other partner is working, I mean, licking the waiter there would be a
I mean, as
acceptable
long as
thing.
the waiter was down for it,
Yeah.
you know. That's,
Consent is important.
yeah.
Consent is
Yeah.
the word. Yeah. But questions when it comes to
Like, can I lick you?
Yes.
Questions like that. This is the stuff that
Or
only...
do you mind if I lick the waiter while we're eating?
So, yes, monogamous people have a much more limited base for their questions early on because they don't have as much to get through.
right. The last date I went on was with a mono person curious about poly. A lot of the questions that I got, and this was a while. This was when we first moved out here, and like I said, it did not go well. And it was more of a curious about poly, like your wife's okay with this.
Right.
It was like, I wouldn't be here if she wasn't okay with it.
Well, you have to
why
understand-
do you do this?
oh.
How do you do this? Why this? Who that?
It's like, okay, I think we're here for two separate reasons.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is a lot of mono people who kind of have an interest in learning about polyamory on a very academic sense, and they'll agree to dates just to do that.
Well, that's kind of what this one seemed like.
That is a game foul. That is a
Yeah.
total game foul. If you are a mono and you are interested in polyamory, listen to podcasts like this.
Especially this one.
Yes, especially this one. And then share it with all of your friends and get a deep discussion going with all of your other mono friends and some of your poly friends and all of those. Don't take a poly person on a date and pretend to be interested in them when really you just want to get to the bottom of what the bedroom logistics are.
And that's pretty much what it came down to.
And that was it.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like that in particular. Like she wanted to know the bedroom details. It was more of a, I don't understand how you can do this. Why the fuck are you here? You know,
Yeah,
like
that's
why?
what I said. You're there for two separate reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this is not.
Now you are wasting my time. Time as a poly person is very important.
Yeah, did you
if
see my
you had
calendar?
actually done your homework, you would fucking understand that. How about you get out of here? Take your coffee and go.
Yeah.
So let's make your coffee to go. And that person over there by the counter with the pentacle around their neck looks cute. So
Let me get her number while I'm here.
Okay, bye-bye.
Other questions that you can ask, and this is actually pretty good for mono people too, and it's something that everybody that's in a dating scene or any kind of scene should be taken up is, when's the last time you've been tested? How many partners do you have currently? And how have they been tested? Different things like that, because you have to be aware of all that. Some other very important questions is, what are you looking for?
right.
Like, what kind of partner are you looking for? Are you looking for somebody that's just, friend with benefits? Are you looking for somebody that's, future nesting partner? Or are you looking for somebody to join the family, to, everything? I mean, there's a lot of other questions that come in. And I know we had brought it up about rules last time about, looking for the unicorn and, single parents and stuff like that. And it matters. Like, what kind of, relationship are you looking for? And it's highly important.
I mean, I think with the online scene where a lot of people meet now, those questions are pretty well taken care of before you would. Like, for me, if I'm actually going to go meet with somebody, I would have all that prerequisite stuff out of the way.
You've already vetted them.
Right, because if I'm not going to waste my time, which is precious and limited, if, you just want to be a bachelor masturbating to porn all your life.
Right.
Masturbating.
Masturbating.
I'm not sure what masturbating is. That like the new Batman movie with Bane?
That could be.
He's now the masturbating.
Masturbating.
I did have an ex that was their goal in life.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about the difference between mono people and poly people on that score is that mono people can take it slower with the questions. Because stuff can come out. You're talking second date, third date, fourth date. Poly people, we're pressed for time.
Not only are we pressed for time, it's one of those things that we communicate.
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
Take a sip.
So we communicate with each other, and we're more open and transparent when it comes to all that. And honestly, I'm not, ripping on mono people, but it's kind of a rule amongst most polycules is that you communicate and radical transparency and all that stuff. So the questions have to come out.
It's not that mono people can't be communicative. It's not that they're not. It's not that some are not awesome communicators and all of these things and practice transparency with their partner. It's just that in the case of poly people, you have no choice. You can't hedge around. You can't try to be aloof and mysterious. We need answers, and we need them now, or this goes nowhere.
Right. If you're trying to be aloof and mysterious, that raises red flags, and we're just like, you know what? How many times have you been arrested?
Yeah.
And what for? How many restraining orders do you have?
Yeah. Things like that they're super important to everybody. Your health is important to everybody you're going to be in a relationship with. Your wants and needs and likes and dislikes and all of that is extremely important. But if you're just starting dating somebody, you can afford to take it slow. If you're a mono person, this is the only person you've got to deal with. You can ask questions throughout the day and be done. And just let things progress naturally, as people put it. Well, let's just see where it goes. When a poly person is seeing where it goes, they've gotten you through to a particular level first.
Right.
Now we're going to see where it goes.
And that's exactly it. And I was going to actually, correct you in that because I didn't agree with what I thought you were going with that, because the way, like, taking it slow, I love to take it slow. Like, when it comes to, not that I've been on a lot of dating scenes or anything like that, but I have to have that connection with somebody before I move anywhere with them.
Well, you're very dimmy.
Right, exactly.
So
and I'm totally, and that's the thing. I have to have that connection with somebody. So I do take things slow. You're absolutely right when it comes to taking it slow. When it comes to poly, is like, you need to be vetted. You need to be at this level before we can take it slow.
Right.
So I need to get all these questions out. I need to do all these things before we're taking it slow.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, let's get the minutia out of the way. Let's move forward with the meaningful stuff.
With poly people, it's one of those things where they have got so many examples of current relationships going on a lot of the time or they've been through several attempts at this. They're really getting close to exactly what they want. So they have a picture already. I had an experience in furniture sales. I sold furniture for a good portion of my life, and thus far, and hopefully it's not a good portion in the grand scheme. But anyway, I took a lot of time to sell furniture and mattresses and whatnot. And one thing that I always found was a certain number of customers would always come through the door having exactly what they wanted pictured in their mind. And when I was a rookie, that was always a thing. Like, I'd try to find something close. Toward the end of working in furniture, I was savvy enough to just I'd look at the couple and say, they don't make it. They don't make it. You will never find what's in your head. Tell me what you need, and I'll find something that fits for you. But the picture that you just made, that's the only place it exists in the whole world. The picture in your head, that's it.
Unless you want custom furniture and you have the money to spend it, guess what? It doesn't exist.
Unless you're going to make it, that's the only place you'll ever see. That's because it's furniture. It's because it's a store. It's because it's stock. It's because it's all of those things that go with it. But with people, it's not like that. There is a fit, but you also have to get rid of some of your rigid lines.
You have to compromise.
You got to realize that whoever you're looking for is a person.
Whoa.
And as you're asking your questions, you've got to know that there are some things they're just not going to fit. And you got to decide what's the most important.
Right.
What's the least important? What are you going to give on? What are you going to not give on? There's hard no's.
Yeah, like somebody liking country music.
See? Right there. So what am I here for? Wait a minute. There's country songs I actually like.
Crow, I got bad news for you.
I have been voted off the island
Again.
No, I have veto rights on here. So
how many times have you been voted out so far?
only by you.
Oh. So what do you say? My vote doesn't count?
He's still here.
Oh. No, it's just I get a vote too, you see.
Yeah,
So,
we all get votes.
Do I get two?
how do you get two?
Because I said I vote that I get 2.
If you were with Crow, you might get 2.
I don't see how that's fair.
Well, because